Microsoft's bringing more games to Steam, and people are angry. And I know they're angry because I'm getting DMs and emails and Twitters and tweets and whatever you want to call it, that Microsoft is bringing another game to Steam, and they shouldn't be doing that. It should be exclusive to Xbox and Windows or whatever. I don't know what their logic is. But anyways, Microsoft announced today that they're bringing Forza Horizon 4 to Steam, which I believe makes it the first Forza game that is landing on the competitor platform for Microsoft, Steam, on Windows rather than their own store. Now, you might be wondering, why is Microsoft doing this? Are they greedy? Do they want more money? Are they trying to be more profitable? Honestly, probably, yeah. Realistically, they're not putting it there because they wanted to spend more money to port that game over to that platform and then not sell it. It's very clear that they're doing this because they see an opportunity to reach more gamers and to sell more titles. Now, there's some really rich history about why Microsoft is doing this. If you go back and look at the top sellers on Steam, top sellers right now, when I looked, Sea of Thieves was the number 8 top seller. Halo Master Chief Collection is up pretty high, and so is Flight Sim. Microsoft actually sells a lot of games on Steam. And so if you think about what Phil Spencer has said over the, past year or so, that they're looking for more of those sort of casual style play, not necessarily first person shooters, Forza Horizon falls directly into that category, and they're seeing an extreme amount of stickiness on Steam with Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves, I think, is honestly a breakout hit for Microsoft. I don't think it's quite the same level as Minecraft, if you will, but it is retained its value, and people are still playing the game quite a bit, and it's always near the top of the sellers list on Steam. And Microsoft wants to replicate that with different titles. There's a lot of different reasons about why they would want to do this. So why don't we break it down? Why would they want to do that? Well, think of it this way. Think of Sea of Thieves. Let's pretend that it becomes the next super hot popular title, sort of like Among Us just exploded. Although Sea of Thieves, I don't necessarily think would go that route. But as it gets bigger and attracts more people, that is another opportunity for Microsoft to get people into that lovely little thing called Game Pass, because that is where they want to get people into their services. There's also other enticements they can use to bring them closer to Microsoft. Imagine, for example, on the Sea of Thieves, they put exclusive content based on that title only on the Xbox, or only in the Windows ecosystem, or only available to Game Pass subscribers. Microsoft is trying to broaden the horizon of its install base of people who are playing its titles, and that again are in that ever so attractive top of the sales funnel for them about getting them into Game Pass. And don't think they're not going to take the chance to call this out. In the blog post, they say, thanks to crossplay, join your friends no matter where they play Forza Horizon 4 and drive alongside them and rivals who are racing on Xbox, Windows 10 PC, and Android devices with cloud gaming with Game Pass Ultimate. They don't necessarily think that this is going to be a direct route going from maybe playing Forza on a PC to playing on Game Pass Ultimate, but it gets them closer to that narrative, and that is extremely important for Microsoft. Not to mention, they are quite literally going to make money because they're not giving away the game for free. So they sell the game, they increase their sales funnel. There's very little downside. Now, the downside potentially could be surmised as saying, hey, look, it devalues the idea of playing it on a console. But I think that there's a pretty strong narrative that there's a pretty big differential between people who play console games and people who are going to play it on the PC. Myself included, I already have a console. There's a very slim chance that I would ever play Forza Horizon 4 on a PC. And I bet the vice versa, or the inverse is true as well, that if you're a gamer on PC, I bet there's very little chance you're actually going to go out and buy a console just to play Forza Horizon 4. So it makes a lot of sense to do what Microsoft is looking at right now. And while we don't have all the facts and figures about the crossover of between Steam users and Xbox console players, I bet my gut tells me that it's probably smaller than most people think. And so this is Microsoft, again, opening up their own IP and putting it on another device, not a PlayStation, of course, and not on Switch, but on the PC where people could already access it. I mean, think of that narrative. If you're using a Windows 10 PC, but you didn't like the Windows Store, well, you're not going to play it. But now that it's in Steam, Microsoft just sold it. And I guarantee that there's not a lot of overhead for Microsoft to take it from the Microsoft Store and put it into Steam. So that is why they are doing this. And I think it's a very smart move, and I think it all again ties back to Microsoft just building out their portfolio of Game Pass potential signer-uppers. That's not a technical term, but people in the sales funnel coming into that market. And this is another way for them to do it with a casual title. And so I would expect to see Microsoft doing this more going forward. The question is, do they ever leave any sort of exclusivity on a timeline? Because obviously Forza Horizon 4 is not brand new, but I mean, it's not the oldest game that Microsoft has. And of course, they could have done like older titles, I guess, but that would have been crazy. But it kind of brings up the opportunity of like, hey, maybe console exclusive features for like a month or 2 months or whatever, and then it comes to PC. We don't quite know yet, but Microsoft is very clearly seeing good success by putting things into Steam with many different titles, and clearly Forza Horizon 4 they think is going to follow that same narrative. The question is, will it? So as we learn more and kind of as we see this kind of play out, I mean, we'll be able to watch the Steam top sellers to see if Forza Horizon 4 actually pops up in the market. Then we'll know more. But for now, keep it locked to this channel because the only BS here is me.